I can tell you that the science of achievement, there are a lot of people that are damn good at that, and they still don't have an extraordinary life. They have an extraordinary life. You see it as extraordinary, but I get the phone call from the multi-billionaire who tells me he wants to do this thing on his business, but what he really find out is he's miserable as hell, and he's hoping somehow I'm going to rub off on him on that side too. And so I give him what he asked for, the change in his business, but I also give him what he needs, which is the change inside of him. So the second skill is the art of fulfillment. If you want an extraordinary life, you can't just achieve, you got to be fulfilled. As simplistic as that sounds, but it's an art. It's not a science. It's a science to making money, come on. Any age, any color, any background, any gender, if you do these things, you'll have an abundance of money. You do these things, you're gonna have too much month at the end of the money. You're gonna have financial stress, right? Body. Everyone's biochemically different, but you and I both know there's fundamental rules, laws. There's a science to the body. You violate that science, you're gonna have disease, you're gonna have low energy. You align with that, you're gonna have an abundance of energy. It's gonna affect everything in your life. It's a science. Fulfillment's not like that. Fulfillment is as different as our human beings. You wanna know what God or the universe likes? Look at the jungle, look at the forest. It's diverse, right? So most people think, well, I wanna get that, because they've been modeling somebody else, and that might work on how to achieve something. It'll never work for what to fulfill you. How many people you know, like you, got what you thought you wanted and you weren't fulfilled? And that, I always tell people, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. The ultimate failure. Because if you go at something and you fail and you're an achiever, you don't fail. You go, I learned something, I'll just try something else. I'm gonna still get there. But when you succeed and you're not happy. So, a perfect example of this, I mentioned in the seminar you were there because it hit me about a year and a month ago, we lost what I consider a national treasure, Robin Williams. And I asked people, how many of you love Robin Williams? Everybody raised their hand all around the world, right? He made people laugh, people were touched by him. So how good was he at the science of achievement? I mean, he wanted to be a great comedian, make the whole world laugh, he did. He wanted to have his own TV show, he did. He wanted the #1 show, he did it. He wanted to make movies, he did. He wanted to have an Academy Award for not being funny. Dramatic, and he did it, right? He did it, yeah. He said he wanted a beautiful family. He achieved everything, and he hung himself. That's crazy. And I know recently someone's saying, well, you know, he had dementia, he had drug abuse, he had alcohol abuse most of his life because he made everybody happy but whom? Himself. That's the ultimate failure. So the secret to real happiness is progress. Progress equals happiness, and if we can make progress on a regular basis, we feel alive. And that's why at the beginning of the year we get this thing like, okay, I can have this fresh start, I can really do what my soul desires, I can expand, I can grow, I can improve, I can change. Or maybe better than change, I could progress.
Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. It's an if-then, cause and effect, quid pro quo standard that we cannot sustain because we immediately raise it every time we attain it. See, happiness demands a certain outcome. It is result reliant. And I say if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently and you're going to be unhappy much of your time.
You have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff. It doesn't necessarily give you a happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff.
Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We are the light that shines through.
A happy place is realizing that you're everything and that there's no real you involved in the first place. I have sadness, joy, elation, gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is what? It spins around the planet. It doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me.
How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out.
You need to understand that your entire life is based on the choices that you make. And for every single choice you make, whether it's made consciously or unconsciously, there is a consequence. In fact, I'm looking at you all right now. Where you are at this point in your life is based on choices that you made at some point in the past. Those choices are the key factors that determine the quality of life that you have right now, personally and professionally. Now, if you don't like the way your life is going on any level, It's time for you to sit down, to reflect, and make different choices. And as you're doing this, and I can't stress this enough, especially with what you folks do for a living, understand this. Your sense of humor is your sense of perspective. It's a choice we all have on how to deal with so much of the stuff that life throws at us every day. Whenever you are in the middle of a negative emotion of any kind, at some point you literally have to stop yourself and say, whoa, where is this going to take me? If you don't like the answer, know that you have the power to change the outcome, to unleash the power of your humor being on a daily basis. You know, we go through the course of our lives, and we let circumstances, situations, and events and people to suck the energy right out of us. Because we don't know we have a choice. We don't know that we have tools that can turn us around.
December 10th, 1914. There was a massive explosion in West Orange, New Jersey, United States of America. 10 buildings in a factory owned by the legendary inventor Thomas Edison were engulfed by flames. 6 to 8 fire departments rushed to the scene but could not curb the chemical-fueled inferno. After having tried all that he could, as Thomas Edison calmly stood there, watching the fire destroy his entire life's hard work, his 24-year-old son Charles came over and stood next to him. In a childlike voice, Edison said to his son, "Charlie, go and get your mother and her friends. They'll never be able to see a spectacular fire like this in their entire life." Astonished and shocked by his father's response, Charles asked Thomas Edison, "Our entire factory is being burnt down to ashes, Dad." Thomas Edison replied, in complete composure, "Yes, our factory is being burnt down to ashes. But all the mistakes we have made so far in the factory have also been burnt down to ashes. We will start all over again tomorrow." That evening, Thomas Edison told a New York Times reporter, "Although I'm 67 years old and I'm completely exhausted from running around and trying to control the fire, tomorrow I'll start all over again, afresh." And so he did. The next day was a fresh beginning for Thomas Edison and his son Charles in trying to rebuild what had been destroyed by the fire. Often, this is